Good morning everyone, I'm going to be analysing the live price action for EU and DXY today to see what opportunities are available, giving you insight into price action analysis for day trading. This content will be aimed at those interested in day trading or price action analysis. So let's begin. We'll start here on the daily chart for EU. So just what story do we have here? Over the last few days, of course, we've had some sort of bullish pullback after this bearish move lower. We've had this closeout yesterday of a bearish doji. So you can see we've still got the previous daily high, previous daily low. So far they're intact. We still have this daily fair value gap below in what seems to be some sort of, bearish trend. After sweeping this sell side liquidity, we haven't had any massive bullish move just yet, taking out any highs. Price direction looks to be heading towards filling this fair value gap. So I'll go down to the 4 hour. So the recent price action, we're still within this 4 hour bearish leg as per my previous videos. So price pulled back to this 4 hour fair value gap, filling that POI. We broke down bearish yesterday, as you can see, swept some internal sell side liquidity, which we'll see on the 1 hour, had a bit of a bullish pullback, and then now into yesterday evening and today, we've continued bearish. We did partially mitigate here this 4 hour fair value gap as well, which sent the price back lower. So on the 4 hour, of course, we're still in a bearish structure, but we're still in discount, and we still have this premium POI here that may attract price. I'll tell a bit more of that story on the 1 hour. So on the 1 hour, you can see since taking that sell side liquidity, we made high, 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 low, high, high, right? So at the moment, after mitigating this 4 hour fair value gap, we had this big breakdown, took that sell side liquidity and had a small minor pullback into this 1 hour fair value gap. And as you can see, let me make this a bit bigger. As you can see, we still have this 1 hour order block above price here. So going into today in Asia and overnight, we've pulled back, mitigated some internal high and this 1 hour fair value gap, and we had a bearish move this morning. So price, in my opinion, on the 1 hour is still bullish, because for me this is the low up to this high here. So even though we have these internal structures, that's just how price moves. So I don't think we are definitely bearish just yet. However, price of course has taken its sell side liquidity, only had a minor pullback, and we look to be continuing in that direction. However, now this morning we have swept some more internal sell side liquidity after the buy side liquidity, and price is rejecting there. So we are 9 minutes away from this 1 hour close, and you can see it's going to close as a low test. So this 1 hour POI up here is still a draw on price, and the structure is also still bullish, and we're still in the discount of that 4 hour leg. So we do have a lot to consider. So if this is true that this is our 1 hour leg, or even if this is our 1 hour leg and we've just swept it, we are within the discount of the 1 hour and the discount of the 4 hour, right? So in my opinion, we can still head higher, even if it is just to mitigate this high. I'll go to the 15 and show you what I'm seeing just from the EU side of things. Just from looking at EU, I have a few scenarios here. So there's a lot to consider. Hopefully it won't confuse you. We have Asia, this yellow area here this morning, the Asia kill zone. In Frankfurt, we swept Asia, had a bearish move. Now, once we had swept the low of Asia, we rejected this and closed above it, right? And we had SMC divergence. So if I show you now here, DXY already has swept its previous daily high. That should be a H. Has swept its previous daily high and made a higher high with the wick, whereas we also made a higher low. That shows SMC divergence, which indicates EU strength and DXY weakness possible from this area. How long that lasts, we don't know. So up here we have the the strong POI on the 1 hour, the order block, and we also have a 15-minute order block there. That's where it swept some internal liquidity and broke down yesterday. Now we haven't taken our previous daily low while DXY has. So price is showing some strength here from not making that lower low. So these scenarios that I'm seeing are if price were to continue its momentum from here and just break down, taking out this low, not sweeping below it, but fully taking out the previous daily low, making a lower low and a higher high on DXY, and then we have some sort of corrective pullback to a POI here on a lower time frame to continue lower with the bearish high time frame trend. We also have this scenario which may play out during the pullback, which is for price on the M15 at least anyway. We could do it on the M5 also, is to break these highs and then pull back to a POI, showing that bullish strength or at least intention for higher price or a premium. And if we want to continue with the bearish trend, we also have this scenario of price to pull all the way up here to our M15 and 1 hour order block and then form a structure, break down and then pull back and continue lower. Right, so this scenario may take a while to play out, of course, and we have some news alerts to be aware of. So we have this ZEW economic sentiment index. I don't know how much of an impact that will have. That's going to go in the next 6 minutes. That could send price lower or higher. And then we have the big boy later, which is the core CPI. So that's later on at 1:30 my time. So price may be unpredictable today on EU. But let's head over to DXY to see what it agrees with. Daily time frame on DXY. We can see yesterday we closed out as this bullish doji, spiking in below these lows and into this daily fair value gap that I have. Of course, that was after the pullback from price taking out these previous highs. You can see we've just swept that previous daily high so far. Not much else to tell on the daily time frame apart from we have taken some sell side liquidity. On the 4 hour, we have our bullish leg still intact. We are still in the premium of that leg. You can see more here the internal sell side liquidity we swept and just reached further down into this daily fair value gap. However, the 4 hour, you can see this is like a consolidation here now. There's no clear internal structure. We closed within this 4 hour gap, came down, took some sell side liquidity, came back, right? So we're going a bit sideways on the 4 hour time frame within our bullish leg, within that premium. So this isn't fully filled. We could still come to fill this or come down to this POI, of course. So we're going to want to see that structure shift. On the 1 hour time frame, it doesn't change much, but we can tell the story a bit more. We've got this sell side liquidity swept, this 1 hour order block mitigated, which caused this bullish break. We didn't break above these previous highs. We pulled back another 1 hour order block and we're continuing slowly bullish. Internally, you can see this will be the M15 structure. Price isn't exactly clear on DXY. We are a bit within a range, but if we look at the structure, we can see this is, lower low, lower high, lower low, and still potentially a lower high to be made here, which would make EU bullish. And we have our SMC divergence and sweep of previous day high buy side liquidity up here. So it would make sense that price could also still continue bearish, right? Given EU strength. On the M15 here, after sweeping this liquidity, if we do see a breakdown, we're going to see that second scenario on EU for it to pull back at least to its 1 hour order block, right? Maybe even beyond, and we might get that short-term long up until that area. So price is moving bullish at the moment, at least in the short term. We're going to want to see, these structure shifts. I would prefer not to use the 5 minute to go long, but we may see, a break of this high. I would rather see that come with strength, which may happen in a minute from the news. Price may break up or break down, and then we'll have a bit more to go on. My bias, of course, would be to go with the higher time frame and my preference would be to go short. However, I want to go short from the good POIs. So I do want to see that either break down strong and come back correctively, or we come up into this area and go short from there as per the scenarios. So I hope that was clear. There's a lot to consider today, especially, you know, with the news and how price action may not move as well as usual while it waits for these red folder news alerts. But these are the ones that are on the table. So I have a mixed bias with a bit of a preference to the short side. So I hope you enjoyed that and gained value. Give it a like, follow and comment, and I'll come back to you. See you guys soon.